Alright, this is the coolest video. I'm going to share something with you that I think is going to be so helpful to so many people. Very often people ask me, how are you so comfortable in front of the camera? Like, how can you help me to be more at ease talking into the lens? Because a lot of people feel uncomfortable with that. You know, they don't really understand how to just be normal, you know, how to act like you're, you know, in any other kind of situation in your life. Like, people kind of freeze up when they have a camera in front of them or when they get on stage, anything like that. And so this is what I do. And I've always done this. You know, I guess this probably comes from the fact that I'm a solo performing artist. Like, I get on stage all by myself and perform full plays for like 2.5 hours. And when I rehearse, and I rehearse every day of my life, like I do this every single day. I write every day, and then I memorize stuff every day. I'm constantly doing that because I don't feel comfortable reading from the page. I don't like that. I don't like the way it feels. It doesn't feel like it's really coming from me. It's like it's more external than what I'd like it to be. So I am a huge proponent of memorizing stuff. But that doesn't mean you have to do that. And you can actually use a teleprompter if you want to. It's fine. But the biggest thing that I could recommend and what I do is, first of all, every day that I rehearse, like my creative work is a spiritual practice that I do every day of my life. Like, I consider it my spiritual practice, like I said. And what I like to do is I like to give that work to somebody who I love or respect every single day. Like, I will do all of the work that I do. I will dedicate a full day to somebody either who's in my life or somebody who's passed away, somebody who I want to hold me accountable, somebody who I would never want to disappoint, you know, somebody who I would never not give 100% of myself to, someone who would have high expectations of me, who would not let me slide, somebody who would tell me if I wasn't, you know, giving my best. And so what I do is I choose a person, whether it be, let's say, my grandmother, okay, who passed away, may she rest in peace, a long time ago. But my grandmother was like my favorite person in the world. Like, you know, I was adopted, and my grandmother was the only person in my life who literally felt like blood to me. Like, she felt like I was attached to somebody through DNA. And I don't know why. You know, my parents were very good to me, and, you know, I was very, very fortunate. I had a beautiful family, but there was just something different about my grandmother. You know, she was my people, my person. And so I often give my day to my grandmother. And my grandmother was also a straight shooter, very honest, very open, and somebody who would tell me if I was bullshitting, you know. I mean, she used to come to my shows when I was playing music and I had a band, and she'd come to the clubs, which was pretty hilarious. And she would tell me, you know, what she thought of the show, what she thought of the songs, what she thought of my vocal performance, what she thought of my guitar playing, my keyboard playing, all of it. What she thought of my bass player, my drummer, my background singers, my guitar player, my horn players. Like, she told me exactly what she felt all the time. And I respected that so much, and I listened to it, and I got something from it. And so let's say I want to give my spiritual practice of the day to my grandmother. When I turn on the camera, if I'm making a YouTube video, or even if I'm doing a movie, well, it's a little bit different if I'm actually doing a film, because there's a script and I'm living in a world, and I've already created the people that I'm talking to. Even if I'm doing the film all by myself, there are people who I'm talking to. So I guess what I'm saying to you is, even though I'm literally looking at a camera and looking at a lens, like right now, I'm looking at a Panasonic S5, the original. I'm looking at a Boya MM1 shotgun mic on top of the camera. I'm looking at a Minolta 28mm f2.8 Telesor vintage lens looking right at me. It's got a variable ND filter on it. I can see myself in the monitor too, and you'd be able to tell if I looked that way because my eyes would go to the monitor. But see, actually, what I see is my grandmother's face. I see my grandmother sitting in a chair and just like scrutinizing me. receiving the story. And my job is to transport her to somewhere where she can't scrutinize me because she's just gone. She's in the story, she knows the characters. The words that I'm saying are kind of not me anymore, but I'm just immersing her in this world that she never expected to be inside of. It's my job to make sure that she's never bored. And it's my job to live up to her expectations of me. Because I know that my grandmother was somebody who expected a lot of me. And who would never accept anything less than 100% everything that I have. Trying as hard as I can to be the best version of myself. And I love that woman so much, I would never let her down. I would do anything for her. And so if I look at this camera and I see my grandmother's face and I see those beautiful eyes and all the lines on her face, the wrinkles, 87 years of, this map that looks like my entire life. If I'm looking at that, these beautiful eyes and this ancient face and her hair and, her curly hair, and how could I let her down? The anticipation that she's looking at me with, I could never let her down. And so I'm seeing her face, and so when I'm talking, like right now, I feel like I'm talking to her. And, it makes me emotional to even think about that because I really get in there, like anybody who knows me knows that I really commit myself to my work. And so if I'm doing this work for my grandmother, I am definitely going to get all the work done. If I'm memorizing, like say 5 pages of a script or 10 pages of a script, you could be sure that by the end of the day, I will have those 10 pages memorized. And it will be completely conversational. It will be completely believable. It will be real. It will be the conversation that I was having with my grandmother. Because that's what I'm doing. I don't see the camera anymore. I don't see the lens. I don't see the microphone. I don't see any of it. I see my grandmother. I'm willing to go there. I go all the way in. And I'm not making believe after a while. It's real for me. I guess I'm like kind of a method actor in a way, which I think it's kind of stupid to really be a method actor, but that's just me. But, everybody has to do what they have to do to get involved in what they're doing, to participate in the reality of the moment. It might not seem like reality to you, but when you're talking into a camera and you're communicating, even if you're just making a YouTube video and you're just talking about what you did during the day, think about all the people that are receiving your words. There might be millions of people if you're a big YouTube channel, but even if you're a small channel, let's say that there are 11 people watching. Let's say there are 17, 25, 100, 400, 700 people. Maybe you want to picture yourself in a gymnasium or some kind of auditorium or a theater or, an outdoor amphitheater or on the street corner or wherever you want to picture it. But for me, I'm always picturing one person. Today, for example, I did my spiritual work, and I recently reconnected with a friend, somebody, I could say somebody who I really felt was my best friend. And we disconnected for a while. And I'm not going to get into all the details of all of that, but we disconnected and recently reconnected, and I decided to give my work to her today when I was rehearsing. And I got so much done, and it swelled my heart all day because I know that she's this dedicated artist, like an incredibly hardworking, committed artist. The definition of that word, an artist's heart, a great writer, a great singer, a great musician, an actor, a playwright, like everything. Completely committed to it, a very serious person. Not somebody who doesn't take it like it means something to her life. Some people just want to be a celebrity, they want to be famous, but some people want to really learn from the work that they do and grow and become better as a human being, not just an artist. But you can't be a great artist unless you become a great human being. That has to be the goal. And so imagine giving that to this person, and all day, today I wasn't talking into a camera, but I was out on the street rehearsing, and I pictured her in front of me all day. And I pictured us having these conversations and going back and forth and like doing Q&As, and I saw us sitting, we often share breakfast together, or so I saw us sitting in a restaurant together talking about it, and then I saw us in a theater, and I saw myself sitting up there with her, the only person, sitting out there in one seat, watching me on stage perform. and expecting to be transported, expecting to be taken away, knowing that this is my responsibility, like giving herself to me for the day. You know, people's time is really important, especially if you're busy. So I'm going to respect this person too. Not only, you know, the fact that they're my close friend and that I, you know that they're a great artist and you know, the obvious things that come with that, but also, you know, like with anybody could choose to spend their time anywhere they want. You know, time is valuable. You know, no day is promised to anybody. And when somebody is kind enough to take the time to spend moments with you, whether it be a YouTube audience or a theatrical audience or people watching your movies or whatever, that's something that to never be taken for granted. And so that's where my head is all day. That she's standing there right in front of me. She's following me around. She's going everywhere that I go, and she's willing to spend the day with me and let me do my work. And it's more fun that way too, because I'm not just doing it for me. It's not just all about me. And so right now I'm looking at my grandmother and I'm thinking of my friend who I thought about all day when I was working. And I also thought about how we just recently reconnected and how this moment is like a bonding moment too, because when you perform in front of somebody, you're being very vulnerable, being very open. You're just kind of like ripping your chest open, or at least I am. That's what I do. Like when I get on stage, people just kind of get to know me. You know, I had a mentor once who said to me, the great artists are the ones who are willing to open up the window to their soul and really let people in to know who they are. I mean, even if you're playing a character who's not you, you have to bring all of yourself to that character. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You can never be a different character. You can't do that. You can embody that person, but you have to get to know them. You have to do character study. You have to learn where they came from, what they like, what they do, where they're going, what they need, what they're going to have to accomplish to get there, what they have to overcome. And so I think about all those things as well, and I think my friend who's watching me all day, she knows all these things. And even if you're an audience member and you don't know those things technically, you know those things because you're a human being. You know them because that's the way people are. You know when somebody's full of shit, and you know when somebody's genuine. You know when somebody's acting and trying to be a certain kind of way for you, and you know when somebody's just being who they are. Take it or leave it. This is who I am. That's what this person is like, and that's why we're such close friends, and that's why we have so much love between one another, and that's why even though we just went through some shit, we're willing to overcome that and be even stronger after fixing it, because that's what people who love each other do. And that's why I choose somebody like that to give my work to for the day, because I would never let her down. I would always give her everything. I always want to impress her. I want to do my best for her. And I know that she expects that, and she knows that I would do the same for her. And so I do it for her today. I did doing it for my grandmother. Right now I'm talking to my grandmother. I do it for my mother. I do it for my father. I do it for people I don't like. Sometimes I'm working on something that's maybe about social justice or, gentrification or xenophobia or homophobia or misogyny or anti-Semitism or whatever. I might take somebody who's a horrible racist, somebody who's maybe some kind of a sociopath. Like I might choose somebody who I'm trying to get through to. And what's cool about that is that I'm going to choose somebody who's obviously sitting there and giving me their time. And so I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't like this person. But this person today is kind enough to give me their time, and it gives me more empathy. Like there's something good about this person, that they are actually willing to sit here and receive my work for the day. And that's a deep thing. And I see their eyes, and I see their face, and I see their body language. And so whether I love them or I hate them, and I don't hate easily, but if I hate you, it's for some good reasons. It's really meaningful for me to give that kind of intimacy to somebody. And it's so great for my work. And it makes doing this so much easier. I don't think about a camera. I'm not thinking about, I get my framing together. I'm a filmmaker. So I'm trying to make the lights look good. I'm trying to make the frame and the composition look great. I'm trying to create some kind of depth of field. I'm trying to get my lights really good. trying to make it look natural. I'm using practicals in the back and a key light and a hair light, and I am making the effort to do that. But at the end of the day, when I hit record, it's just me and you. And I'm sitting here telling you a story, and I'm sharing something with you. And the other thing about me is that I don't share stories with an audience. Whether it be a play or a film or anything, I don't do that unless I feel like it is absolutely necessary for me to get this story out into the world, to get it out of my body and to share it with people. Like, I would die if I did not do this. And so when you think about things like that too, like, are you just getting on YouTube to just talk some stupid shit, or are you trying to provide some kind of, like, quality for people? Are you trying to provide some value? Are you trying to create something where people are going to want to come back, where they're really immersed and compelled by what you're saying? They can relate to it. It resonates with them. They feel like it's familiar, because we're all the same. We all want the same things. No matter where you come from, what you believe in, who you love, how you love, any of it, no matter what you think is important, you're the same as somebody who would feel the exact opposite to a lot of those things, because you want the same thing. You want to be safe. You want opportunity. You want to have freedom to do whatever you want, to say whatever you want, to think whatever you want. You want to be fed. You want to be warm when it's cold. You want to be cooled off when it's too hot. You want to be loved. You want to be respected. You want to be loved. We all do. We all want the same things. And so when you put a face in front of you instead of a camera and think about all of that, it makes it much easier to speak. It makes it much easier to share your story. It makes it feel more important. It makes it feel like something. I mean, if you're just talking to a camera, it's kind of nothing. And it feels like nothing. And that's why most YouTube channels feel like nothing to me. Even the really talented ones, even the great ones, I don't feel anything. And, anytime I watch anything, I don't care if it's a lens review, a camera review, running shoes, whatever. I want to feel something, like in my chest. I want to feel like somebody's talking to me. I want to feel like we're here together and we're, eating lunch or whatever, and, the world is flying around us. We're on 14th Street, Union Square in New York City, eating in an outdoor cafe, and we're just hanging out, and it's a beautiful day, and all kinds of different people are around us, and we can hear the trains and cars and buses, and we can hear sirens and people laughing and crying and singing and whatever. But we're sitting here in our little world, and then we're in this intense conversation. And it just starts to build. And now we're in this vacuum with one another, and all this stuff is going on around us, and we're not really capable of hearing or seeing any of it because it's just me and you. That's it. These are things that can help you speak into a camera. Looking at my grandmother. Looking at my friend Audrey all day today. That's a great gift to me. I feel fortunate to feel that way about people in general, but to have somebody who I really care about like that, who means so much to me, who I know I would die for, who I would never let down, who I would never disappoint, or if I did disappoint, I would do everything in my power to fix it, even if it took a long time. I think every time I look into a camera, every time I rehearse, even if I'm not looking into a camera, if I'm just out on the street, or if I'm rehearsing in a theater space or whatever, I always see somebody in front of me, and I feel fortunate for that. I feel so human to need that in front of me, to not be able to just spew a bunch of words. Like, I don't know what kind of person that is, to just throw words out there for no apparent reason that are landing in no apparent destination. Like, I can't do that. I think that would paralyze me. It would make me feel empty. It would make me feel nothing. I want to feel something every minute of every day. I'm a very intense person, and I want to be in that state all the time. And I want to feel my heart a little bit swollen all the time. I want to feel inspired. I want to feel curious. I want to feel amazed all the time. That's how I live my life. I want to feel calm. I want to be around somebody who centers me, who makes me feel at peace. There are very few people in the world who can do that for you. Pick somebody who gives you that kind of comfort, and you will find so much more ease in speaking to the camera. And so I think I've said everything I need to say about this, and so I'm just going to end this video after saying, please subscribe, please hit the like button, please consider joining my Patreon, all of that. If you're interested in any of the gear that I use, I have affiliate links in the description here. And if you click on them, I've chosen, like, every link, I have found the cheapest possible price that I could find for that product at either Amazon or B&H, which are two great places to buy camera gear, audio gear, lights, stuff like that. And if you do that, it helps me out a little bit too. And you don't pay anything extra for that. And so I'm going to end this video now because I don't really like talking about that stuff, but if I'm being a diligent and responsible YouTube person, I am going to continue to do that because I do want to grow this channel and I do want it to serve me well while I hopefully provide something of value for you.